Okay, Mr. Finch, if you would, I'd like for you to come forward and be prepared to speak a little bit on the status of the grass cutting, please, sir. I'll begin if you don't mind. And one of the things I wanted to ask you was, I know at the last meeting it was brought up, and I appreciate input from our audience at the time, reiterating what we all know to be is it's important that our image be clean cut and positive, so it draws folks in. And one of the things that I think that I asked specifically personally is that you do the area along the boulevard from the fountain back in another mile or so, or half mile or so, like once a week, I believe. I wanted to ask you on the status of that, if that actually stuck and you realize that's what we wanted, or if you've done that, or if it's something we need to revisit again.
We've been doing it weekly since we had the meeting.
Perfect. I thought you had.
We were there this morning, actually. We've been there every week, and then next week, we're doing all the roads again for your second cut this month.
Okay.
So, but it is making a nice difference.
Yes, it is. I thought that. I suspected that just from driving in and coming in. And I thought you had. I wanted to thank you and commend you on that. I can't stress enough how I believe that is our gateway to the community. You know, it's a large community. People come in from different directions, but people that want to look at Sunny Hills, well, let's stop there and take a look. They'll come in there, most likely. And it needs to be sharp at all times. And so I thought it was. I hadn't talked to you outside the meeting. I didn't remember where it went, but whatever, I assume relatively small nominal additional fee, we'll work that out as we need to and certainly bring it to light. But I do appreciate you doing that.
Yes,
how far are you going in, sir?
Okay, when you go into the entrance, you have around the fountain, and then where you come out with kind of we curve out where the county picks up.
Right.
Well, right behind the entrance, there's a big field, a huge field, almost like a football field behind it. Then there's a little crossroad, then there's another field that has the little bench and everything.
Right.
We go behind it all the way to the back of it where it starts tapering back.
Okay.
So we cover that whole, basically, 2 football fields and some more. All the weed eats and everything was done on that weekly. And you're getting 2 extra because I'm assuming this month in September, possibly October, we're doing 2 cuts on the roads. So you already get 2 of them anyway, so you only paid for 2 extra trips out there. And that's already been approved, everything's good. So.
Okay. What is that additional charge for just the 2, if you will, the 2 football field areas there?
The entrance, the 2 fields and all the weed, and we're doing the side of the roads weekly too in that area.
Right.
Is $250.
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Money well spent. Thank you, sir. So around the fountain area, the football field, the pie-shaped piece, and then just outside the roads on both sides too.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay. Money well spent. Thank you. Very, because it was beginning to look sometimes, no fault of yours, just based on the timing of the procedure, it was not looking good. But I noticed, I thought that it had looked better just as an observer. I hadn't talked to you with the county commissioners at all, but I thought we made that clear, and so nice job.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Before you, anything else for Mr. Finch? Anything for us, sir?
I just wanted to say, since I've lived here, I've noticed that there's less trash on the road lately, and I think that you're doing a great job with picking up the trash.
I do. I would like to say one thing, and I know there's so many things ahead that's got to happen in this and others, but the contract will renew, I think, in May next year. In the contract, there is you can agree to up it and keep the same person without rebidding it. I would just like for you guys to keep me in mind, that we're giving a lot of air, to get it where it is. And we come in lowest already on the bidding. And if you would consider keeping me, if it all makes sense, I understand that. I wouldn't change my prices. I'm good with where everything is. But in a way, I'm trying to make this happen for you guys. In a business sense, I'm kind of scared to take on too much else.
Right.
Because it's making y'all a priority. So, I'm taking a gamble.
Right. Yes, sir.
I'm giving y'all a can. You guys have my number, and anytime you need me, you call me. So if it gets to that point, I just like for you guys, consider everything that I'm doing for y'all. I'm coming to these meetings. I want to be a part and make things better for you guys. I take criticism well. If you see something we need to do different, call me.
Well, I wanted to again commend you on that. I've noticed you've been at all the meetings and very willing to answer our questions and be open and upfront, and that's what we must have. because, you know, folks are looking at what we're doing and how we're spending money, and so we appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
So, as we get to that point, I'll ask Mr. Massey and the commissioners to help walk us through that process as you just talked about, and, you know, what they suggest on the bidding. You know, again, I don't know you personally, all I know is what you've provided for us and what you've done here, and if there is a legal way to potentially to keep you without going outside that, we'll certainly look at that.
Yes, sir.
Without
That's
making
all that.
any promises, you know, that's all we can do. So, nice job there. The one thing I do want to ask while you're here is, and it may have asked you, county commissioners, some of the roads we talked about, I know the main road is very important because of a visual, gateway kind of perspective, but what about some of those side roads? And give you an example, just off Challenger near the library and stuff, like Fairbanks, Oasis, and that area, kind of all there, kind of between the library and the Baptist church, if you will, if you could, just for example.
Right.
A lot of the dog kennels going up, you know, chin high. Is that something that is deep down in your contract, or is that back to the 2 times a year that the county provides for us?
My contract is just the main roads that I've told you guys.
Okay.
If it got to a point that you want me to revisit and look at them and get prices,
Right.
just give me a list.
Okay.
I'll be glad to go look them over and do the best I can on the prices.
Okay, and that obviously wouldn't be the nice skag, you know, just a good finish lower bush hogging type thing, just to knock that stuff down, right?
Yes, I can do either way that you want me to do it, but especially the first few times, it would probably need to bush hog because it's bad to get it down, you know, so we'll just tear equipment up.
Right, okay. I know there are no homes back in there, but ultimately, those lots belong to somebody, and it's just gonna get worse. You know, little trees will start growing eventually, so, in the shoulders there, so, I would like to,
And those are the gateways to the library, Wilder Park.
it's all, just all block removed from those main attractions there, so.
People from Shenandoah come through
My
there.
question is, if we start adding more roads, does that require an RFP down the road then?
That might be a commissioner question, legal quick. Mr. Massey, yes, sir.
Let me comment on something.
Okay.
As far as those other side roads,
Mhm.
we've had 5 tractors running. I put one tractor in Sunny Hills, has been in Sunny Hills, mowing and getting back some of those back roads, the dog kennels and stuff done. As the rest of the tractors finish their cycle, we'll come in there and we'll get Sunny Hills again, and we'll start our cycle again.
Okay.
But we've got a tractor in there right now.
Yeah, I saw it there at the Shenandoah and that
Yeah.
first road.
So this may address some of the things you're talking to Mitchell about, but certainly, if you want it done more often and we're able to be there, he would probably be able to help.
Right, okay. Well, I think for now then, if Mr. Massey, if you would, as those tractors continue to work, give it another couple weeks, you think it'll be back in there around the library, Fairbanks, Oasis, just,
Well, we're getting close to the end of our cycle from one county, end of the county to the other. And my conversations with Public Works is that once we get to a good point there, we've got the roads we've been working on cleaned up, we come in, put all our tractors in there and get it done,
okay.
and then move on.
Do you have a projected possible timeline on that then, based on the status of everything else and all the resources?
I would say in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I would say we could probably make that happen.
Certainly
I
not,
just need to follow up with the guys and see
Okay.
how we're coming.
not looking to hold you to that necessarily, but that sounds like, give me a kind of a good ballpark on what we're looking at. So that's good. Like Kathy points out, that's not too far from those that might visit the library. They might take the back road back, you know, and it's pretty rough. And again, just the growing season we've had has been pretty significant this year. So, well, if you would, Mr. Finch, that's all from us, unless my fellow committee members have anything for you, sir.
Thank you.
Great job, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Mr. Massey, if you would, sir, just ask you to put that toward the top of the list.
Oh, it's there,
Okay, good.
it's there.
Perfect.
We're gonna take care of it.
Okay, good. Thank you, sir. Thanks for allowing me to add that additional item there. So moving along with other agenda items that we added and adopted toward the beginning of the meeting here, in no particular order, these are some of the ones that I wrote down. We talked about lighted information signs, electronic signs that would be message boards for the community, particularly the Boulevard, maybe even Elkham and/or Shenandoah as well. So this wasn't anything, does it, any of my committee members have any update on that?
No, I do not. I haven't had time to go further look into it. My point of contact I had is no longer in business.
Okay.
And I was gonna hook up with Commissioner Hawkins there, but I never had the opportunity to do that.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna push this aside and move on.
That's fine. I just know it's something we talked about, and I don't want us to lose that because I do think it's something that would enhance our community and the communication that sometimes we miss. You know, you may miss an email, you may miss the letter, but you got to drive by those signs. So I think that's something that we'd explore. So let's try to have, from all of us, some information on that. And I was actually prepared to, if we had some figures, propose kind of a spending item tonight, but I don't think we've got enough to do that right now. Steve, you agree?
I agree.
Okay, so let's keep the lighted information signs on our agenda discussion topics, and let's visit that possibly at our next meeting. Okay, the other thing, again, bullet point was the fountain we talked about. Can't stress enough, I really believe that the fountain area is, again, the icon for, again, our gateway, and it's looked, I mean, it could be worse, but it's looked pretty bad for a few years, and particularly the construction going on right there. We're about to have a brand-new 4-lane, beautiful blacktop Highway 77 coming by that area, and I'd like for us to continue to explore how we go about it, whether it's through Deltona County, buying it for $1, leasing it for $1. I think that fountain must be fixed and operational, or some type similar icon there. So thoughts and comments on that? Kathy?
I think now it's more of a legal issue, whether we can actually do anything. I think Mr. Massey was going to try and find out legally what we can do.
Yeah, I'll be glad to bring it to the board and get their opinions. I'm sure they have some opinions on this, but I think it very much is a legal issue. But if you want to ask me to bring this to the board, I'd be glad to get an opinion on how to proceed, and how we can proceed if so.
Okay. Gary,
Yeah, I think
Steve?
right now that's the big question.
I'm gonna, I play the devil's advocate, but the Deltona Corporation is a pretty smart group of people. They've been making money for years. And they've shut that fountain down for a reason. And they don't like to give land away, and they're willing to give land to the county. There's gotta be a reason for them doing that. I think that thing is a money pit, and that it'll drain us dry. Now, I'd be willing to look at maybe filling it in and planting some nice trees and putting a sign up there, and there are lots of nice things that we can do for an entrance, but
It doesn't
there's a
involve
reason
the
they
water
did-
feature.
there's a reason they didn't give us a cost estimate on that too. They know what it's gonna cost to fix that. And to me, that's just a horrible money pit coming along.
Certainly, I hear that, I understand that, and I agree with you. I know that something needs to be done.
I agree with something, but
Yes, sir.
Even if it's just something as clean, simple as cleaning up the brick
Right.
and painting.
Stucco in it or something, or whatever the new, I don't know, but that's, I personally
Just a,
like a water feature, you know, if we could. But you're right, maybe that's something to explore on what it costs, but I don't think it's out of reach with the income that our community produces. And it's amazing people that's in this area that say as a kid, they remember driving by the Sunny Hills Fountain. It's just such an icon, and I think that it's something that we could restore in some way. Even if it's
just a new coat of paint would make it 1,000% better.
fill in the brick lines maybe, or paint the brick. If we're gonna do it, I think we should do it right and make it look really good. Even if it costs a little bit, at least initially, it may cost $50,000, $75,000, I don't know.
My suggestion with the whole thing is to put it on the back burner for right now. And folks that want to see some kind of ideas, we can discuss it a little bit here and there rather than drag it out at every meeting right now. Until that highway is completed, I don't suggest we do anything with it. Until we see exactly what land we got left in front of it and all that other good stuff. And at that point, we have the legal issue taken care of, and then we can come up with the ideas of how we're going to proceed at that point. In the meantime, if anybody that really feels that this is close to their heart, we can actually do some research to get estimations of what it's going to cost to get it back up and running, and whether or not it's feasible, rather than keep regurgitating on it.
I'm with you on that.
Okay, well, so we all agree that something needs to be done. It's unsightly, and it's getting worse. Again, it could be worse. I understand that. I've seen worse things visually beside the road, but Jeff, do you have any comments or suggestions for us? Because I think that as a resident and as someone who understands, marketing for a community like that as this road is being built, that I think a simultaneous reveal with the fountain and the road at the same time would be ideal, whether that's a year from now, but we all can see they're making great progress right there in front of Sunny Hill right now. They've left other areas, haven't started in other areas, it's coming on quick right there in front of our neighborhood, so I'd like to see that fountain.
Well, I think what y'all need to do is, as a board, is make a decision what you want to do and recommend it to us, and I'll take it for
Okay.
my board. But, don't get me wrong, I have opinions like everybody else, but mine's, I serve the board.
Right.
So if you guys have an idea that you want to do this, make a decision, so we'd like for you to look into this, and I'll be glad to take it to my board for consideration.
I see, Ms. Heelis, do you have a comment on that at all?
I have to agree with my husband that, we need to wait until we see what's gonna happen with the road.
I can tell you what's gonna happen with the road. It's gonna be a brand new, beautiful four-lane blacktop highway in about 6
No, I know
months.
that, but we don't want to be messing with the fountain when they're messing with the road, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's just my opinion.
The fountain burgers wouldn't be working in the right of way of the road anyway, regardless. So I don't know that that's got anything at all, with all respect to everybody involved, just playing, like Gary said, devil's advocate, I don't know where that has anything at all to do with our work, because eventually it's gonna be a four-lane road even closer to the fountain. So it's, work would need to be done at some point, and they've allowed us an easement to be able to keep it.
Mr. Abbott's got something to say.
Yes, sir.
I know that a representative from Deltona that works for them looked at it mechanically. And he spoke with me about it today.
Mr. Worthington, Dwight, it is? Okay.
Has he spoken with any at all about that?
Kathy, did you, right?
I met with him at the fountain, and
We don't have any cost
looked at it. I mean,
estimates.
it's-
Carry on if you have some information, we'd love to hear
I
it.
don't have any cost information, but I knew that he had told me that he had talked with a member of the board.
That'd be Kathy, right?
yeah,
But he didn't give you a cost estimate.
no,
Some of y'all would like to fix, I think all y'all would like to fix it if it wasn't a money pit. What you could do is just get an estimate of what it would cost to have it fixed.
I think they have an estimate already, and it's so bad that they don't want to admit it.
They, Deltona here, Deltona?
Y'all don't have it.
Right.
We don't have
Yeah,
it.
we don't have any information.
If y'all would get that information, to what it would cost to have it fixed, you would know whether you wanted to fix it or paint it and fill it up with dirt.
Is it more than $50,000? Just
I have no idea.
hypothetical question.
I don't know all Deltona to give you the information.
No, I don't.
Okay.
If you call a private plumber or.
Okay.
You know,
Or a pool person.
All right.
yeah, somebody, they give you a free cost estimate of getting it back going.
Okay.
You can make a determination what you want to do.
So is that something you guys would suggest one of us as a Jeff, or one of us as a committee member reach out and do that? So, Jeff, okay? So, yes, Steve.
First, we have to get it out of private hands.
Okay.
I wonder if that's putting the cart
Because if
before the
it,
horse.
exactly,
Yes,
because
yes.
because
I think-
You figure what's gonna cost.
it's,
Well, no, so he's saying the other way. So it needs to be done
I'm
together.
saying, if you find out it's gonna cost too much, don't even bother going to private, I understand that. But just, I want you to all keep that in mind. Even if it looks good, you can't do anything until it's out of private hands.
Okay.
Do y'all own the power poles up there?
But
Do y'all own the right of way that the power poles are sitting on?
No, you do, the county does.
Y'all talking about the legal issue, I don't see where y'all have it personally.
Well,
Oh, okay.
the lighting, the boulevard lighting, I do have that coming up later. I haven't got that. This is fountain right now, is that right?
Yeah, so they can't put money into Deltona's property.
But Deltona's willing to give it to the county.
Well, give it us.
Yeah.
We don't want it, because I'm young.
Okay.
I can't believe you'd even think about taking it.
So people have said we can't spend money at a county park, is that right?
No, you can't.
We can. We can.
Private can't.
But we can't spend money on a fountain that sits on county property?
I need an interpretation, what I
That's what
have.
we're asking for a legal opinion, but we're just spinning our wheels until we find out whether we can even
But
do
we have no
it.
legal here.
We come up with.
Right, right, we could, right?
Yeah.
So that means we could also, if we wanted to invest money in a Wilder Park that's within Sunny Hills, we could do that as well. Okay, so that was one of those on-the-street things that was brought up saying we couldn't, but we can.
I don't think we
Yes, you can.
I don't see why we couldn't, but
So right here, yeah.
we submitted,
My statement was, and I should explain.
that's okay,
Y'all don't own the property that the power poles.
right,
Y'all are investing money.
right,
What's the difference in investing that in a fountain?
exactly.
Yeah.
It's-
Once the county owns it, that's the
It
Yeah.
says Sunny Hills on it.
Or a park or anything else.
I don't really care who owns it, if it's Deltona or the county, it just needs to be fixed, but it would be better if it's the county's, right? We agree to that? Well, no.
Legally, make it out.
Okay. Motion incorporated. Okay, so with that said, I know that I would like to ask Mr. Massey to seek out both of those pockets of information, that being the costs, some RFPs to have it fixed at different levels. If it's reinstating the fountain, obviously, as a possibility, but then also having it something, I guess, more like, say, Lake Muriel's got down in Bay County, there near Bozeman School, where it's just a nice entryway kind of thing. I don't know if they got water feature, I don't think they do, but
They do.
they do have a little smaller.
Yeah, smaller.
Two fountains.
Okay, that just kind of dribbles down, and I've seen some where the water kind of dribbles down, there's like plexiglass in front of it or something, so, Jeff, if you would, I know that's kind of vague, but if we need to vote on it, we can, but I'm not asking to spend any money, but I do agree with these guys that we need to eventually put this to bed. We need the research, and we want to do something we know for sure, whether it's after the road comes in or not, it has to be done.
No, I-
Or we're spinning our wheels.
that.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so we agree with that. So do we need a motion to vote on that? That you seek that out for us?
No,
Okay, okay.
I'll follow.
I really, really want at our next meeting to have some numbers that we can, or some information that we can move forward with on this fountain. And it may even be that we decide we gotta wait for the road's done, but,
Depends on when your next meeting is.
okay. And I'm sure we'll determine that before we leave here, so definitely wanna move forward with the fountain. We've talked about it, but we haven't gone anywhere. I think it's time that we stop that and move somewhere, yay or nay. And something's gotta happen. If worst case scenario, bulldoze it down. I don't wanna do that, but something's gotta happen eventually because it can't stand there forever unattended. So we agree that we want to make it better, and we will ask you to seek out how we might do that, sir. Okay, good. So let's scratch that. Still kind of rambling with my points here. The committee member attendance. We have had a committee member, with no disrespect whatsoever, in my intention here, that has not been able to attend any of our meetings except for the first one. And I'm asking my fellow committee members that are in attendance, did we set a policy? Do we have a policy? Is there a standard policy? Jackie County Commissioners, what would you guys suggest on the situation there?
That is actually in
It's in the ordinance.
It's in the ordinance.
Okay. Does anybody have that information
I do.
readily available for that?
Can't put my finger on it, but I know it says something about if they miss 2 meetings, then it's up to the commissioners to,
2 in 1 calendar year, 2 back to back, which,
let me see if I can find it.
okay, that's okay. Well, either way, I guess that doesn't matter. And again, I mean absolutely zero disrespect, but I think it's something that we need to address because the opinions and the information, the resource there has not been available to us as the rest of the committee. So,
Members who fail to attend 2 or more regularly scheduled meetings in a rolling 12-month period shall automatically forfeit their appointment, and the Board of County Commissioners shall promptly fill each vacancy as it is set forth for in an open seat.
okay. So with that information, the other member that's not with us again tonight has missed not just 2, but 3 consecutive even. So, Commissioners, any suggestions for us or for me on how we might proceed to, okay, so the member, Charles, has basically forfeited his position by that rule, right, Kathy? So technically, that says to me that the position is open right now.
Let our county manager reach out to the county commissioner that
Okay,
appointed that one
And let them handle it.
have no problem with that whatsoever.
Make the decision to also let them know what the policy is.
Okay. And Jeff, does that sound good to you, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Need a motion from us on that, or, is it- okay, good. We've asked you if you would reach out to the county commissioner that appointed Mr. Charles Suggs, member number 2, and research that situation, and I guess technically let him know that by the ruling, he's forfeited his position, but see if he has interest in coming back, or let him know he's off. What, Commissioner, what's your thoughts there? Okay.
I want to reach out to
Let him handle it?
We'll
Okay,
figure it out.
okay, all right. And we'd like to know about that for the next meeting too, because if for some reason that person does not want to return, we'd like to consider filling it with another individual that might be interested in being a part. Okay, I have nobody in mind, not whatsoever,
county
just,
commissioner will appoint.
oh, okay, got you, that makes sense. I'm sorry, I misspoke there, my apologies. But again, it's not personally driven at all, it's just the fact that we've been missing a member. Okay, so I want to make that clear.
Each commissioner appointed an individual that we want to keep it.
Yes, sir. Okay, I do apologize. I didn't know if it's something you guys want us to fill at this point, so that, Commissioner, that's what you guys will do. It sounds good. Okay, moving on. Sir?
And then there's a board.
Okay, that's right. Very good. Thank you, sir. Okay, so Jeff, if you would, please research that and handle that as the commissioners would see fit. The next item that I added late there was the code enforcement discussion, and we've all talked about that is not something that the MSBU should do, even maybe probably even can't do. But I had gotten word from a civic association member a few months ago. I was at Boat Lake, and Mr. Glenn Zanetti, I believe, I don't know him real well, I just seen him there on Boat Lake, and I think he's a member of the civic association, I believe. And he said to me that there was an effort by the Civic Association, I don't know where it stands now, to try to get from Deltona the ability to enforce the code enforcement laws. I don't know if that's true, I don't know if it's legal, I don't know if he can, that's just what he told me. So I only say that to say this, we do, as we continue to clean up our neighborhood, and we still have unsightly properties that, especially along that entranceway, that would deter someone to be driving in to potentially purchase or buy or contribute a good upstanding citizen to the community. So I would like to know how we can go about doing that. Touch on that again, commissioners, if there's something that you guys can do, or I don't know if the Civic Association is at all affiliated with us, or you guys at all. I assume not. Not at all. So,
Well,
yes, sir.
the way our code enforcement works is we receive a complaint from the community, we follow up on that complaint. We don't go out every day looking.
Right.
Now, if that's, that's the way we operate now. So if somebody, complaints received from Sunny Hills, we're gonna investigate that complaint like we would any other complaint in the county
Certainly.
and address that.
Okay.
And so, that's the way we're running it.
Okay.
So, if that's any help to you.
With your code enforcement people, they can only go as far as the county rules, right? So if there's something that Sunny Hills imparts above and beyond that, is that something you guys could enforce too, or you can only enforce the overarching county?
I think we have to stick to what we're doing now.
County.
Above that, I can't give you a good answer on that at this point. I wouldn't think so.
Okay. All right, so I guess that's still kind of a dangling question then for me, Gary.
We hear that a number of complaints have been sent up here and that they've not been addressed at all.
Okay. Why don't you let me know what those are?
Okay.
That's all you gotta do. Promise.
Okay.
There's a difference between code enforcement and deed restrictions.
Oh, yeah, but we're just talking about 25 cars sitting in front of a place that are junked and things like that. It's code enforcement.
Okay, but there are,
You
you're right.
mentioned deed restrictions.
Yes, sir.
A bit ago, and I want to make sure that that's separate. Those are two different issues.
It'd be,
Code enforcement ain't going to enforce deed restrictions.
okay.
Right.
So,
there's one particular home that I don't know the address, and I'm just, Gary, you and I know about just driving by. Would that fall into a code enforcement issue?
I think it
I would
would.
think so
I think it
too.
would,
So
yeah.
we need to provide an address maybe to Jeff, to have his guys research that, perhaps?
Gary,
I don't want to do that, no.
no,
I'm an MSBU advisory board member, I don't want to be
That's not what I'm
a
saying.
complainant in the, let the people who live near them make the complaint. That's what's been happening, from what I understand, and it doesn't go anyplace. I could probably give you a couple of examples if you want, but I don't want to be the one going around getting code enforcement. That's not my job, I didn't hire on for that, at very low wages, by the way.
If y'all just let us know what the,
Okay,
let Jeff know what's good.
right. Yeah, not,
Addresses that he wants us to investigate.
You can stay anonymous with that too, correct?
pardon?
You can stay anonymous with it if you turn something, if you turn a code
Well, you
violation.
can.
I'm not sure about that, but I'm willing to say you could.
Now, I turned in a code enforcement on Westbrook Drive a few months ago,
Yeah?
and I never got a call back from the woman that, you know, I looked up the name, and I never got a call back, and nothing ever happened. Now, luckily, other people moved into that home and took care of the situation, but there was a pile of trash, and it sat there for a good month in their
How long
front
ago was
yard.
that? How long
It was
ago?
about, what,
Oh.
3-4 months ago?
Don't ask me, time escapes me.
We will work on our way that we have to manage that, I'm sure, Jeff.
Yeah, I don't think you can do it anonymously, I think you have to file an
No,
official
I think,
complaint.
all I did, I gave the address and I told what the problem was. I mean, there was trash.
If you can call anonymous, we'll fix that.
So I never got a call back, like I said, it was a lady's name, I guess, I called her office, she's never in her office.
Just make
Because
believe
I
you call
called
it
like 3
CNN.
times,
Anonymous.
gave the address 3 times, and the problem, and nothing ever no one ever came by. And she never called me back, so it was kind of a little frustrating, and thank you, Jesus, somebody moved in and took care of it.
okay. Well, so,
The board as a whole, now, I will say, has stepped up as far as code enforcement goes. And actually hired somebody to do code enforcement full-time, which we used to not have. And then provided money for magistrates, which county utilized this past week. So, we're trying.
So maybe that was before all this happened.
No, if she didn't respond, that was after we hired her. So,
Let me say
I
this.
don't have any, there's no defense of that. I mean, I can't, I don't know the circumstances, but just from your side, there's no defense. I mean, I have no defense. If you called 3 times,
And I gave the address, the actual physical number of the address. That's what I needed to do, and told exactly what happened. Like I said, a call back would have been nice.
Let me say this.
yes, sir.
We're looking at virtually all the processes in the county. And if we're falling short somewhere, we're gonna correct those things. But I want you to know this. If you have that happen again and you don't get a response, I would appreciate a phone call. Because I promise you, you'll get one from me.
Well said,
Thank
Jeff,
you.
thank you. So it sounds to me, and I'll close this off here too, that the issue that Gary and I spoke about specifically, and I don't know the address, so I'm just kind of speaking generically, is that it's, the yard is, for one thing, despite the fact there's broken down boats and car looking apparatuses out in front of it, there's also, it's overgrown, so, I mean, how do you define what's an eyesore? But I think that may fall into more of a deed restriction type thing. Possibly? No?
No.
Even overgrown bushes, it's, okay. Code enforcement as well? Okay. Fire hazard stuff, yeah, possibly. So, okay, with that said then, we would like to, I don't mind getting the address to Jeff. I'll get it. And again, that's what brought us all out. We weren't necessarily asked to be on the committee. We all came out as concerned citizens initially and got wound up here. So we're not snitches or neighborhood police, but we are concerned
Our
citizens.
community,
Right, so I don't mind mentioning and having that, I would prefer to stay anonymous, really, just keep the heartburn down, but I think it's something that needs to be looked at.
Well, it's not in our job description. The people of Sunny Hills need to do a few things for themselves.
Absolutely.
We shouldn't have to report every streetlight that's out. A citizen can call an 800 number on their Gulf Power bill.
That's right.
We didn't take on the responsibilities of managing Sunny Hills.
Right.
At least that's the way I feel.
This is out of our ballpark, right?
Okay, but something needs to be done.
But we
Again,
can pass
okay.
as a private citizen, you can pass an address on to the code enforcement.
Sounds good. So we're good on that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anything else, Steve?
I just want to make sure that's not an MSBU issue.
Right, and I was told, people say, just keep the lights on, keep the grass mowed, but we've got budgeting to do better things to make the community better, so you're right, I agree. I don't really want to be a part of it ideally, and that's why I brought up the thing initially about the civic association supposedly getting from Deltona. I don't know what that means, but somebody somewhere should be able to enforce our community deed restrictions and/or code enforcement. So we'll move on from that, because it's not ours, but it's something that we are concerned about. So, this next item here, I'm prepared to talk about for 30 seconds, because it took about an hour last time, and it shouldn't, but I wanted to kind of see where we are and move on and scratch it off and never talk about it again if it's something we can't do, and that's bulk pickup. We talked about that, possibly a service for our citizens. Is that anything we can do?
Well, I'm gonna give you some pretty rough, I think, fair idea of where we're at.
Okay.
I did reach out to legal, and because we have a valid contract with Waste Management for waste collection,
Okay.
we could probably do this with them. So I reached out to them, and to give an example, first of all, let me say there's 1,200 people in Sunny Hills, only 200 of them are participating in trash service.
The waste management pickup, garbage service?
Somewhere around there. Okay, so you don't. that's-
Yeah, let me wrap my head around that real quick. 1,200 people, not households, but people.
I've heard 1,200, is that the population?
That's there are about 620 houses.
Okay, then you
Okay.
got 200 homes
There we go.
participating.
One-third.
1/3.
Sorry, I staked that.
That's all, that's what I needed right there, yes, sir.
So you have 200 residences participating on garbage service in Sunny Hills. So you roughly have 400 or so this month. So I thought that would be interesting for y'all to know. But if you could send a rear loader or a boom truck in there, it would cost you about $300 per hour with an 8-hour minimum, plus disposal, a 28 ton. And with that, very tight restrictions on what's going to be picked up at that road. You're not going to combine white goods, tires, batteries, furniture, all that stuff. Some of that is prohibitive waste to the landfill, and they can't accept it. Some of it can be taken to recycle, but that's not what they're going to do. They're going to pick up what they can pick up in a bulk site and move on. And in 8 hours, and this is rough stuff, so I could get a little bit cleaner with it, but if they don't get everything, they'll be back. It's once a month.
Right.
First Friday a month is what they suggested to me. And they would come in and work for 8 hours. If they don't stay there 8 hours, it's still an 8-hour minimum. If they run it, stay there 8 hours, and they don't get everything, they'll be back next month.
And how much an hour?
How much total for the day, I guess?
$300 an hour.
$300 per hour.
It's almost $2,500 a Friday then, huh?
Plus disposal, yeah. So you're looking,
Okay, so
2,400.
that $2,500 a month, roughly times 12 months, you're going up there quite a bit. So there's got to be a better way than that.
Well, now, there are other ways. You could do roll-off boxes, 20 or 30 cubic yard roll-off boxes, and have a weekend, a cleanup weekend, something like that, where everybody can bring all their material they want to get rid of there. That way it can be managed. That way we have one container just for white goods, that can all go to recycle. You have one container for this type of material. The problem, though, as I've mentioned that before, I believe, you know, Gary was concerned about the fact that a lot of the older residents can't get their stuff to the roll-off containers.
Right.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
You know, if they're, hopefully they would have friends or families that would help them
Right.
do that.
Or something that they can order to hire.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what, just like they hire somebody to mow their grass or something for their yard, so you're right. Okay, so with that said, any
That
further?
would be much cheaper
Okay.
as well.
Well, we've gone without it, does anybody, Mr. Town, you know how long we've been without it? I know when I moved in 10 years ago, I think it was available, but
Well, it's been without since 2007.
okay, it's 10 years. Wow, I get done it one time when I moved in then, but I remember it being at least once, you know, a couple time or two, so we moved in early 2007. Okay, so again, our goal here is to try to cut down on some of the dumping and stuff that takes place, illegal dumping where people dump their trash or couches or whatever in the remote areas, so.
I don't think you're gonna be able to cut down on that because people come from out of the community to do it.
Okay, you think that's where a lot of it comes from?
Oh, shoot.
Okay.
You go up my road, you see it all happening.
From the 400 people that's not got garbage.
Yeah.
Right, because see, I did some research today. It's like Article 54, Chapter 54, Special Districts. You got a solid waste municipal service benefit. I didn't even know we had that. But as you go down there, it says, all owners or occupants of improved residential property within the unincorporated area of the county shall be required to utilize the solid waste service provided by the franchisee, which we just found out a lot of people are not doing. So, you're not gonna force anybody or stop anybody from dumping, is what I'm saying.
Okay, all right.
All we can do is help the other citizens by putting the 2 or 3 bins out there and have an amnesty day within Sunny Hills where everybody can take all their junk and get rid of it all.
Okay. I'm
We
in
can
that.
do that once a year, once every 2 years or something like that.
What if we come upon an area where there's been some illegal dumping, does Mr. Finch's services as trash pickup fall into that area where we can ask him to do that slight additional service and clean up that spot on a case-by-case basis?
I'm sure for money.
Yeah, obviously be compensated for it, but,
My gut would say I think he could do that because he's not really providing any solid waste services.
Right.
He's doing a cleanup service.
A cleanup
to you.
service.
He's already got him contracted. He's picking up litter and stuff like that now.
Yes.
Which is no bigger. Now, I wouldn't even find out for sure. I mean, I don't want to speak about him, but that's just my opinion.
all right.
Yeah, I don't know about how it's doing MSU only with private property. That's the only thing. I mean, the private, you know, of course he could do it. I would think he could do it. I would just be cautious because we're, you know, about private property with code enforcement. You know, and now I just be cautious about spending MSU funds because you're really spending it on someone's land.
Right. If somebody has dumped on another
Well,
vacant
yeah,
lot.
so if it's on the
Yeah.
right away, that's a different story.
Right.
But if it's on the parcel, you know, somebody just goes right on the outside because that's where a lot of dumping is happening is on the.
It's in the
So that's
lot.
the only thing, and I don't know, just
Right.
be a devil.
Good, that's a good one, Jackie. Thank you for bringing that up. I think that you would assume, and I'm not saying let's move forward on an assumption, but if I owned a lot that was vacant and somebody dumped on mine, I would definitely be glad for somebody to clean it up as a service to the community, an eyesore. But people are funny and people are different, so,
There's a lot of lots that nobody owns.
Yeah.
We, the county has no telling where they're gonna go with it,
okay,
right? So,
that's right. So, to move on from this, any comments or questions or anything we can do, anything we'd ask Jeff to do, or just want to just drop this one for now?
I suggest we go forward with pricing the delivery of 2 or 3 trailer bins, or whatever you want to call it.
let me say this, as part of our agreement with Waste Management, we get 4 of those a year.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, in Sunny Hills or the county?
This is where we normally do it at Recycle because we have the ability there, we have equipment there, we can manage it there. We can put our white goods in a white good pile there. It's typically where it's been. But I'm not saying that's not out of the realm of possibility to do something in that part of the county on a certain day in a managed way where you guys will get the most bang.
Okay. So, for example, I know that the recycling center on 77 there between here and Sunny Hills is, I mentioned at a previous meeting that I had a love seat and a recliner and a water heater that I needed to dispose of. So, in the process, I went ahead and took that myself. I think they charged me $2 or $3 for one of them items. It was not in the water heater or something. I don't remember what it was. Anyway, so I took care of that because I have a truck and a trailer and I'm strong back. You know, it's no big deal, but I'm thinking about pickup for those that can't. Or we offer some type of service randomly that, I don't know, you made the point. They don't pay like they pay somebody to mow their grass, I guess. I want us to move on from this. If it's something we can't do, or just, $24,000 a year, I don't see that.
All we gotta do is find out what it's gonna cost, how much, where we can put them, and advertise it 6 months ahead, so people know, oh, I got all this stuff I wanna get rid of. And I call my nephew and come over to the house and help me do this stuff, something like that, or contact somebody through the church or whatever. And they can plan for that particular day within the community.
Okay.
I just had a 20-yard roll-off delivered to a rental house that I had. If I want to see that my bill on that thing, for them to come and deliver it, pick it up, for it being full, I believe it was like, it was just a tad bit of regular.
Okay.
That's our easiest fix to serve the community, I
You can
think.
get, $250 for full, plus disposal, what it would cost you to get roll off.
So which are you saying would be better? The roll?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's based on the information they gave me today, and I'm sure they're trying to make their numbers work to help
Okay.
the situation.
Jed, what if you had three, one for like, one for
Yeah,
furniture, and one for regular trash? You know, if you set up three, the only thing I'd do if I were to do that, I would contract Waste Management and ask them if they would be willing to have a staff member there throughout
that
the
would be
day.
key, that would be key.
To make sure that whoever's putting it in what knows which one to put it.
Right, like,
That would be, exactly.
That'd be a cheap solution to that.
Yeah.
We just got Waste Management representative down there.
Let me say this, if you chose to hire Waste Management to bring in cans and set them down, fill them up, they take them off, take them to landfill, you get billed. That can be inclusive to Sunny Hills. But now, if we do this on the county contract, keep in mind, if we put cans in Sunny Hills, anybody in the county can come and use them.
Correct.
And ultimately, is that okay? I mean, they can go to Wilder Park, other county spots. It's just central to our people, so to speak. I don't know that I have a problem with that, because it'll only be for, what, a day? And bring in, set it up for a day?
I look at it this way, if the people outside the community are using it to get rid of their garbage in the bin, they're not dumping it in the woods.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what?
So that'd be okay, and it wouldn't cost us anything additional, would it, out of the MSBU money? Because it's still serving the county, because Sunny Hills is in the county.
If there's four of those amnesty type events per year in our current contract. And we can stage those wherever we feel like we need to in the county. We could do one at Sunny Hills. And, but it would be for people from all over the county to come to use it. And, but it would need to be advertised and managed, like Commissioner Bush said. If you don't do that, it would be a disaster.
Right.
So it would still be that someone would have to load or have loaded their disposal items to
Why don't you
take
let me
to,
reach out to Waste Management and
Okay.
see what they'd be willing to do to help us.
because I don't know this can help. Go ahead, sorry, go ahead.
I don't think we can do that in Sunny Hills. I took a trailer load to the Amnesty up here, the last one they had, there was a line of cars a mile long
Yes,
for
they
4
did that too
hours,
much.
and they were spreading stuff over 25 acres of the disposal facility there. I don't think we could possibly handle that in Sunny Hills.
So keep it at the recycling center, which is only 6 miles up the road, 8 miles up the road from us, and just make sure our people know about it, right? I guess it'd be the thing on our lighted signs that we'll be getting at some point,
If that's the case, then we're back to using
If we-
a dedicated service.
right?
I'm just giving you some
Right.
suggestions.
I understand.
You guys do what you want to.
Would we have the same kind of pricing?
Or is that not Amnesty Day? They're talking about like, you're not talking about we can bring chemicals there, you're talking about just bulk pickup,
No,
right?
it's not hazmat.
Yeah, see, that's what they're thinking. So it's not, Mr. Gray, it's just the bulk stuff that
Yeah.
they're put straight into the dumpster.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna be spreading over 25 acres like we're at Amnesty Day because of the hazmat. That's the reason that it took so long.
Hazardous waste.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, but they were sending people to one pile for televisions and another pile for refrigerators and another pile for, not even considering the hazmat, that there's no way we can do that. So
That's why we need the 3 or 4 different bins.
But if Waste Management would do that same deal once every 2 months instead of once every month, we're talking about $12,000 or $13,000 a year, I
They're
would
gonna do
think.
that. I
Huh?
don't think they're gonna do that.
They gotta do it once a month, huh?
For them to,
For it to be worth their while.
you know, I can check in it for you, don't ask, I don't mind doing that.
I think it's a lot of money just kind of, that they require is almost like a holding type fee, and a service like, you know, Mr. Finch is here, might be a better outlet for us, resource for that, so, I'm ready.
Once a quarter.
Yeah, once a quarter, and like I say, the recycling center will take our stuff, not the hazardous stuff, but love seat, recliners, and just junk that can be dumped, and even trash, I guess, right? Trash, bags of, no, not garbage, not trash, okay, but more like bulk goods, recliners, love seat stuff, all the time. The issue is the Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. It's hard to get by there for those that might work out of town, so utilizing a Saturday is when the amnesty days generally are. On Saturdays usually, okay. Well, like I say, I'm prepared to move on from that, I just wanted to kind of see where we stood. So what's our final thoughts? Help me wrap my head around what we've agreed on with the bulk pickup. We've had 10 years. What do we do?
We need to have the bins put in Sunny Hills some way. And if it has to be just Sunny Hills community, like Gary was pointing out,
No, I don't wanna do that.
you'd have to do it, you'd have to pay for it through the private organization.
I don't want Sunny Hills to do anything that excludes other residents, because we're free to go to Wausau and Vernon and use their facilities. And I'm not one, they already don't like us very well. I'm not one that wants to exclude other people from coming to Sunny Hills.
If we pay for it, though, we exclude them because it's our money in our neighborhood, right? You agree with that? If it's something we pay for, well, we should, we do. If it's county, anybody can come, but if it's Sunny Hills MSBU money, it's our residents, our lots that use it. And that's just the way it is because it's our funding. We go to Wausau and Vernon to the county library, we're all county residents, but they're not Sunny Hills residents. So I don't have a problem with if we pay for it, it's for our people, unless the county allows it for the rest of them. So I see your point. You got this massive people from all over the county coming in. That's what we don't like. That's what you don't like the thought of, right, Gary?
No, that's not at all it. I'm just saying that amnesty day is way beyond the capabilities of having it done in Sunny Hills.
Okay.
We just, logistically, we just can't do it.
So keep it at the recycling center?
Yeah, keep
Okay.
it at the recycling
Alright.
center, yeah.
I was gonna do something for the Sunny Hill residents. I would have something that the MSBU set up, contracted and paid for, and it wouldn't be announced countywide.
It would need to be announced to the Sunny Hills folks. I agree. That's
Then
right.
have it just somewhere centrally located and you're gonna have some that know about it and show up, I don't know how you exclude them, but if it's just kind of known locally more than countywide.
All these ideas revolve around your sign. Your sign.
Right.
When you get your sign going, that's where all your ideas
Yes.
become to fruition. Because right now, advertising is y'all's biggest
That's right.
nightmare. So if I was this board, that would be my
Yeah.
number one objective, that sign. Because everything else falls kind of into place.
A sign or signs. There's also Elkham and Shenandoah.
Well, I
So
need to
Steve's
get you
gonna,
on that.
yes. You're gonna give Steve's gonna do some research
Yeah,
too.
well, Brian, they just went back to school, and I wasn't there to kind of get the legs of
Okay.
it before I started questioning them about their sign process and that, so I'm trying to break.
Well, let's definitely, I agree fully. I mean, the people come, and I say, I talk about the boulevard a lot, but I'm thinking in this case, if we can afford it, I think Elkham and Shenandoah ought to have one too.
I don't know where the power is. You have to have power.
Okay, all right.
There's powers at poles there.
Did you hear my comment, Commissioner?
I'm sorry.
That we talk about the boulevard a lot, but I think in a case like this, that Elkham and Shenandoah also ought to have one.
But that's up to y'all.
Right.
Now, that's not our decision, but I just think that the sign implementation will help everything else y'all discussed,
Mhm.
because the library, people not knowing the hours of the library.
Right.
That problem's big. Your MSBA, that problem.
Absolutely, 100%. That's why I want to make sure we get on
These
these.
meetings,
Huh?
you know, no one knows your meetings, because it's so hard to get that out, and that's the reason one of our two, media sources that's here tonight.
Right.
They don't know, and, you know, like I said, it fixes a lot of areas.
Perfect. I fully agree. So that's something that we'll have information on in our next meeting, is the sign. So moving on from that, 2 items I've still got on the agenda, and then we're done. And one is one that Kathy brought to my attention this evening, right before the meeting, to add to it, and that is, I simply bullet pointed it, Chad Gainey Sculpting. Kathy, if you would talk about that, please.
Yeah, most of y'all are familiar with Chad Gainey, and I was made aware that he's moving out of state. And it was just an idea I had that if it would be nice for Sunny Hills to have some kind of sculpture that he would do to leave, put it on display, and I don't know where. I don't know what it would look like, that would, come down the road. He said he's probably got time that he could do something before he leaves, but if we would be interested, and he's been such a fixture in the neighborhood, just thought it'd be a good idea before he leaves, and we couldn't get it anymore.
Kathy first thought that maybe when she mentioned that to him, that he'd be willing to donate something to us, but apparently that's not the case. He said he would do it, but you didn't discuss sizes or heights or prices or anything.
No,
right?
he said he would be willing to discuss our budget, so,
Okay.
anyway.
Well, and that, the budget and the size of the prominence of the sculpture would determine, I think, where it would go. Would it go down in front of the community center, or would it go out by the boulevard, rather by 77, it just depends on how big it is and grand. So,
It was just an idea.
you're certainly welcome to explore that, and I'm not necessarily opposed to looking at it. Go ahead, Steve.
I think that's a danger zone.
I agree.
Explain.
You've got factions of people within the community that would see that and run. I don't know, it's a danger zone.
Actually, the fact
I
that,
know it's a beautification thing, so that works. I'm
Right,
sorry.
yeah.
the fact that he's leaving probably means that we won't have to call code enforcement on him.
That's a very good point, Gary. I see where you're coming from there. So that's just something Kathy mentioned to me before the meeting.
And I'm just throwing it out there. I was,
If he
In
can
my mind,
incorporate our
what I thought-
sign into it, maybe.
what I saw him doing was kind of a flat type of wooden thing with the Sunny Hills logo that perhaps maybe we could use at the fountain area. But that was
Well,
my.
he does have artwork that he's leaving behind. It's right across the street from his house. There's an eagle in the tree.
We got a bench right here, it's money for.
Right, yeah.
Golf course has got a bench too.
Well,
You're not gonna hurt my feelings,
Well,
but just
no,
abandon the idea
I
totally.
don't, if you want to, again, I'm sure we'll meet in about 3 weeks or so again, probably, so if that's something you want to research and find out what he's looking to do, some proposals, Eagle, American Patriotic kind of thing, or Sunny Hills specifically, or a combination of both, it doesn't hurt to check on it. It doesn't matter to me. If it's something we don't want to afford and can't afford, don't want to purchase, and we just,
Seems like we got a,
I would
Split
prefer not
decision
to
here.
pursue that.
that's,
That's my,
I would tend to agree with you, Gary.
well, I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
I,
I just know, I know a lot of people on both sides of the fences that have been set up in there, and I just see bad things happen.
I'd like to pass on that.
that's fine with me.
well, it's on you, because we still got 2 votes over here, and I promise you, I don't really care. I don't see where it matters to research it and check on it, but if you want to pull it back, we'll go that route too, because it's totally up to you. I mean, I don't see what it hurts to, that you mentioned, you had the idea, you mentioned him, he does good work. He's world renowned. I mean, I agree that there's some code enforcement issues possibly, but as he leaves, it may be a nice piece to our community somewhere. I don't know.
I'll reach out to him again and see.
You guys see any harm in that? I don't, again,
Oh, if she wants to do that, it's fine.
All right, but under the premise that most likely, or there is a possibility that at next meeting, if we do bring it back up with the figures and the proposal, that we may say, nah, but at least it doesn't hurt to explore it, I guess. Does that sound good?
How long is he gonna be here?
I have no idea. His house has a for sale by owner sign,
They've already bought
but it just says coming soon.
Say what?
They've already bought another house up where they're going, so I don't know how long.
I think he's probably not gonna be around a whole lot longer.
He might be gone before we get.
Before we get there in about
Yeah.
30 minutes. So, you know, if it falls through, it falls through, and that's okay. But again, I don't think there's anything wrong with exploring the possibility. And, you know, he may become world-renowned famous one day, and it might be kind of cool
That's
to
right.
have something somewhere, $1,000, you know, or I don't know what. I'm just throwing a number out there. So, with no
It was just a spur of the moment
Well,
idea.
I would say, if it's okay with you guys, not spending any money at all, just have Kathy, if she don't mind, reach back out to him.
Research doesn't cost a dime.
Perfect, let's do that. Kathy, if you will, let's do that, and we'll be prepared to make a decision at the next meeting on that for sure, okay? And you can just discuss different options, small, large, prices, you know, and encourage them to cut us a deal and estimates if you would too, so. All right, the last thing that I have is boulevard lighting, and I brought up something at the last meeting that I think that was received almost maybe a little foreign, and Gary and I didn't expect Gary's response to that, and that is when I mentioned the possibility of changing out the light poles, particularly along the boulevard. And again, I mean no disrespect to anybody, but you know, with this opportunity to enhance our neighborhood and what it visually, from a visual standpoint, as people come in and drive down, and I don't mean to be comical necessarily, but 25 years ago, when I drove in there as a teenager, you know, I remember thinking, even back then, you know, coming to see a friend or play some golf or something, that the lights appeared to be, the light poles particularly, outdated then, and didn't think anything else about it. But I believe, and many of them are not plumb either, a lot of them are, you know, kind of leaning over and stuff. I really believe, and I don't know that we're prepared to vote on anything tonight, I would like some discussion, and Gary, I respect yours, but I think they look like 1970s TG&Y parking lot. You guys remember, anybody remember TG&Y? That's what they look like, and I think that it's outdated, and don't know what it would cost, but I think it's something that we could research and make some type of decision on very soon. Envision this, as you come into Sunny Hills Boulevard particularly, whether you're a resident or you're somebody coming through the first time, you've got the grass mowed, and it looks like, for lack of a better term, Disney. You know, it's clean, the grass is cut, it's green, it's beautiful, it looks good. You've got a working fountain or some type of icon there. As you come down, you come through a lighting system that is ornate light poles, concrete, wrought iron, whatever, and possibly LED lighting at some point. It just totally changes the perception of the class of the neighborhood and makes it more appealing. So I believe, and I'd like to open this up for a quick discussion. I have nobody in mind, a contractor. I don't know where we'd start on, if it's a Gulf Power thing, if it's a county thing, that we consider and research changing out poles and ultimately LED lighting along the boulevard to an updated look.
I believe we have to get Gulf Power thing just strictly because the lights are not needed. There's what I'm saying, the lights are paid by the month, no matter what use they pull. So they really, the wire, I don't believe belongs to, I think it's Gulf, when y'all believe that, like I said, there's no way for a private contractor to come there and change them out, because that's not a metered service.
Okay.
Now, Gulf Power may have a cooperation with contractors, or something, but because that's really not your light pole, you pay a rent per month to Gulf Power.
So whose light pole is it? Gulf Power's? It belongs to Gulf Power.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was emails that Jackie sent to our email,
I think I only copied you.
and I just tried to pull them up, and the website's not working.
Yeah, no, I was trying to do it here too.
But I looked at those emails, and they're quite similar, I think, to what you're thinking about, and the price was astronomical.
It was crazy. Like I said, Hank and Connie had rode through there, Connie Oglesby, and that's the emails I sent. Miss Kathy, because I knew she was working with those. So after our last meeting, I sent her those information.
Okay.
I don't know if it had the fixture numbers on it. I didn't know if it had the pole numbers. I knew that we had discussed poles, but I didn't know if in those emails Miss Kathy had the pole numbers.
Right.
I didn't really look back into the emails, but I got besides forwarding them. But I
Well,
knew it had its fixtures, options, 4-way, 3-way, fixture options.
Mm-hmm.
I think she talked about what poles she would take out in that email.
I'd like to see that, and I
Yeah, I'll
thought,
forward it to you.
huh?
I will
Okay.
send it to you guys.
I actually thought that was, and again, that was I'll take the blame, I misunderstood. I thought we were gonna have her here tonight.
What's the lady that you're working with another lady, correct? Miss Kathy,
Yeah.
this Connie is another lady. Miss Kathy's been working with someone else.
Okay.
And in some of those poles, like, they were almost $10,000 a piece.
Okay. All right, that gives us a starting point. Again, I think the conversation can be had on that. Gary, your thoughts? I know that you said last time, I think you quoted, you said, I like the poles.
I have a pole on both ends of my house. I think they're lovely, and I've actually talked to my neighbors up and down by my house, and they all like them just fine.
They like the light, the fact there's light there, or they like the actual design and style of the
They're
pole?
very happy with the poles they have. I'm not gonna say they like them or dislike them. They're very happy with the poles they have. But I've also heard that Gulf Power amortizes those poles over a certain length of time. Perhaps they'd be willing to replace them and charge us in our monthly bill for them.
That was gonna be my suggestion.
Right.
Is touch base with Gulf Power and
Yes.
see if in certain areas they may have already replaced poles
Right.
to a different style, and at least the style they took down was better than the style you currently got, or something like that. Just, I would touch base with them, I mean, all they do is say, hey.
Right.
Yeah, if we can get it done for nothing,
Yes, sir?
then I'm not gonna complain, but I don't wanna spend any MSBU
I
money on
don't
replacement.
want to, but I think you got to invest. I'd rather not. I'm like you. If we can get Gulf Power to come on board, help us out and do whatever, absolutely. But it's the same reason why people refurbish homes, to resell them and fix up their own home, to enhance the value. And I know we got to spend some money to do that. And I really, really believe that gateway in there is one of the best places we can do it. The fountain, keeping the grass mowed, and the lighting along the boulevard. At least, even if we go a half mile the first time, because that's where most of them are. Next year, go an additional mile. You know, so I think it's something we need to explore.
I also have the thought that there are a lot of people that don't have lights, and they might think that they'd like to get some lights before we get new lights.
Okay, I thought of that too. I thought of that also, and again, going back to the gateway issue, I use that term a lot, and I'll try not to, but some of those lights could be placed in other areas, like El Kim or Shenandoah or something. The lights that are coming down.
I don't know.
And just brainstorming. So Jackie, that's something we can have for sure at the next meeting, is that representative from Gulf Power? Is it not?
Yeah, I
You said
mean,
you
Miss
could-
Kathy, who have you been working with?
Huh?
What's the lady's name that you have been working with? I mean, because she's been involved, Miss Connie was involved with back end, I think Miss Kathy's been involved with someone here, so I'm sure that Gulf Power would be more than happy to send someone.
I want somebody high up that can answer our
Yeah.
question and give us some numbers and figures and what they can do for us and what we pay them per month, but you guys probably know
I
that.
think it best would maybe appoint a committee member to do back research, you know, what you guys want, get the figures, and then they come. Or, I mean, we can,
What's our bill per month for lights, you guys know?
24, it's 24, around 2,400. I think it's 22 something, but no more than 2,400.
It's about 25,000 a
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
To roughly $25,000 a year to keep the lights on. Okay.
28,000.
Yeah, he's the president, but no, he's a lighting
Well,
specialist.
Darren Wall would be the one that has to have that.
Okay. Because he's even higher up than those folks potentially. I like that suggestion. Okay. Kathy, do you know Darren?
No.
I don't directly, I wouldn't know if he walked in the door, but I know his name and we know each other from around that way. I think I'm friends with him on Facebook, so I could actually reach out there. You guys think it'd be a good resource?
Yes.
Okay, good. Let's do that. And I will introduce myself to him and ask him to come to our next meeting. That sounds like a good plan? Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, again, like I say, I'm as
He
thrifty.
might know, if it's not him, he might know who.
Oh, if we see,
Okay.
we'll know. Yeah,
We will know.
of course, not a physical person to come in.
Darren Wall, right? Wall, like the wall?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and I could actually, when I call him, ask that question. If not him, who? Okay, good.
Well, Jackie said he's
He's
the
the one
one
that sent us Miss Connie. We had to actually reach out to Mr. Darren to get Miss Connie.
Connie
And
Oglesby, you said?
Yes, sir, and I'll forward you those same emails I
Okay.
from Miss Kathy.
All right.
Of the prior research she's done, she's actually rode that area. But like I said, Mr. Darren, we actually reached out to him, and he's the one that sent her over to us.
Okay. And again, I'm in this position here, and I want to facilitate for the greater good, and I just really believe that as we enhance the look of our community, the grass mowing, the fountain, those things, it'll appeal to people more. Right now, I can use the example of the 1970s TGY parking lot. I don't mean to be comical, but I mean, that really is what those lots look like to me, as somebody who might want to drive through. My family, just real quick, kind of fell into Sunny Hills 10 years ago because primarily the housing market was so expensive in other places. Although I'm from Holmes County, lived in Washington County previously, we landed here, but I love it, and I don't tend to go anywhere. It's just my little testimony, but that may not be the case for somebody else. May be looking for a community that appeals to them, so they might not find it the same way. So I really believe that's something that we can do, is enhance our look, another way we can enhance our community. So with that said, I don't have anything else. Gentlemen, Kathy?
Make a motion, we adjourn. Oh, we gotta figure out a date for the next meeting.
Lance, real quick. So I will take care of the lighting situation. Let's look at our calendar. One thing that we have done is coordinate our meetings because we want to get so much done just in advance of the county commission workshop and meetings. What do you guys think about, I see today is August 15th. Gary, what are you thinking? Labor Day is the 4th of September. Just throw that out there on a Monday. Jackie, when do you guys meet again, county commission in September?
20th.
September 20th.
I think November 15th.
We don't have enough right now that we need to try to move forward on and spend some of that $300,000 the county commissioners have told us for 3 months now we got to spend and we can use. And before we get more, we're going to get more, and that's a good thing. That's a good problem to have. I think with our signs and the things that we want to do, I believe it's time to do something besides just buy 3 AEDs. That didn't sound bad, did it?
We just spent $30,000 on getting more mowings done.
And some mowing too. I don't mean, I'm not being silly, I think that we could, you said the next meeting is when, Jack?
September 20th.
Okay. Would, Gary, what was our last meeting, 3 weeks ago or a month, you remember?
Well, it was on July the 25th, so it was
So you're about 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Yeah.
So what would, are we married to a Tuesday still?
Well, the week of the 11th, I'm out of town.
Okay, I was gonna suggest the 12th, but 12 won't work for you, right, Steve? Okay,
We have plenty of meeting.
on the 12th? Okay, that whole week anyway, since Steve, Labor Day's the 4th.
Back to the 19th.
The day right before,
And can't think of a better way to spend my anniversary.
is that? We can have cake, we can bring cake and stuff. Yeah. Out of respect for Steve's anniversary, do we want to,
That's fine. It's just another day.
It's just 36.
the 7th on a Thursday, that's backing it up 2 more weeks, that's too, what do you think, is that too close? I do these things we talked about tonight, I really want us to move on something next
I
time.
don't want to wait either.
Okay,
Thursday is bad.
Thursday's bad?
Well, the first Thursday of the month is Chipley City Council Workshop. I go to every one.
So that'd be the 7th, right, Gary?
It'd be the 7th.
Okay, the 11th will work, so Wednesdays, generally church nights, for people, for folks. So we don't want to do Wednesday?
I don't think it'd bother anybody that's not here.
Wednesday.
Wednesday the 6th,
Monday the 18th,
Monday the 18th,
or Tuesday the 19th.
or the 19th, what was the issue with that?
Our anniversary, but that's.
Oh, that's right, I remember that all.
It's just, that was the only issue with that, that's just another day.
That's the day before the county commission meeting.
Right.
That's okay? Steve, is that all right with you?
That's fine.
It's kind of a pattern now.
Okay. Yeah, the things are fresh for you guys when you go into the meeting. So if it's okay with y'all, that puts us, what, exactly 5 weeks from tonight. So let's go with September 19th, 6 PM as our next meeting. Sound good? Okay. As just nothing more than a fellow committee member, I'd like to see us be in a position to present some figures so that we can,
Signage.
yeah, signage for sure. I'll check on the lighting issue. And any other thing that we've talked about. Now, Jackie, can we, as committee members, can we reply all to those emails as long as you're in the group?
I would probably just reply to me and I would forward it to you.
Okay,
Yeah, just reply to me, and then I will get the other members' information.
okay. All right, and obviously, we, like I said before, to be honest and open, we don't do any communicating outside. I was scared to walk up the door today when it wasn't open, because I don't know somebody gonna see me talking to another committee member. But, all right, with that said, Gary, I believe you made a motion to adjourn.
I did.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
Motion and a second, we adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. All right, we're